Hey YouTube family, this is Sid the Kid, and I know it's been a while. I haven't really done any reviews. I haven't really done too much because life has been one hell of a whirlwind. I'll go ahead and maybe give you guys a little bit of an update maybe later, but just for right now, there's a lot going on in the news, so we're going to talk about it. So, um, we're going to talk about the two devastating shootings and what people are saying online. Conversations that I've been in even today, it leaves me a little bit disturbed, to be quite honest. So there were two shootings. One was in El Paso, Texas, and the other one was in Dayton, Ohio. I believe the one in Dayton, Ohio was the second one, but the one in El Paso was what happened first. And there was a 21-year-old suspect. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Don't mind me. It was a 21-year-old suspect. He went into a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, and he killed 20 people. He killed 20 people, and he injured dozens of others. And he actually had a manifesto that was written, and he said that this is an attack in response to the Hispanic invasion. That is what he said. And his name was Patrick Crusius. He would speak about the Hispanic invasion or race mixing, and it's really, he actually drove from Allen, Texas to El Paso, Texas. That is 800 miles. That's a 10-hour ride. And he was wearing body armor. There was Kevlar. All of this. Basically to ensure that when he started shooting, even if the police were called and snipers were set up, he had enough armor on where he was like, I could do enough damage. He had basically an anti-immigrant manifesto that had a theory that white supremacists call the Great Replacement, where they feel like people of color and immigrants are going to replace them, which is why when the Charlottesville thing happened, that's why all the white people were screaming, they will not replace us. Because that's a true white supremacist theory. A true blue white supremacist theory, which is something that they hold dear to them. And it's really sad because we're only in August. There has been 249 shootings in 2019. There were 3 mass shootings in Canada this year. It's August, so I guess they have time to catch up. But something tells me that they're not going to get to our numbers. And with the second shooting, I believe he was actually killed, Connor Betts, from Bellbrook, Ohio. He killed 9 people and he injured 27 others. He had an assault rifle, a 223 caliber weapon, and again he was wearing body armor. Multiple law enforcement state that it was not a hate crime. And he also ended up killing his sister, Megan Betts. She was in the crowd. So of the 9 people, he had killed also his sister as well. And I think the real problem that I'm having is the response that we're getting online from people, because people are saying, maybe white domestic terrorism or just domestic terrorism, where we see literally just white people who have the like racist white people that have these crazy manifestos and they're radicalized and they end up going into schools and churches and Waffle Houses and everything, Walmart, just wherever, to go ahead and see if they can target minorities. The problem I'm having with the responses is that you would think that white people would be just trying to condemn white supremacy and try and find a way to combat it. But instead, all I see online is, hey, well, I'm not racist. That's great. They are.
Northgate to patrol, you can come pick up this choke block paperwork.
That's a good copy. I'm at work. Anyway, so basically the issue that I'm having, is that what people are talking about online is not the issue. Like I said, I feel like I thought we'd be all like coming together to try and fight white supremacy, or at least this radicalized version of just regular racism, which, it doesn't always cause people to kill someone, but you drove 800 miles just so you could try and handle the Hispanic invasion. And the fact that white people right now, at least online, are saying, well, what about black on black crime? This is how they're responding to 30 people, almost 30 people dying in 24 hours in 2 different states from 2 mass shootings done by 2 white men. And instead of trying to figure out what we can do better, all I hear is, well, what about black on black crime? And then I even saw some stuff like, what about the Africans that sold other Africans into slavery and all these other things? Like, stay on topic, first of all. And I just want to put it out there. There is no such thing as black on black crime. Because if that was the case, we would have black on black crime, white on white crime, Asian on Asian crime. We call it crime by proximity. It's got nothing to do with race. Because people kill what they're around. It's just a fact. So when people decide they want to bring up like all kinds of things like, well, inner cities, which is now a new racist trope. Instead of saying black people, now they'll just say inner cities. Well, like, you're not trying to concentrate on the crime in inner cities or what have you. And then I even saw a person post that there was 295 deaths in Chicago alone. And I'm like, so there's been 249 shootings, however, which has killed, I want to say, let's just say 10 people apiece, which obviously that's not the case. There's been more. So even then, by numbers, it's a bigger issue. But instead of having a pissing contest as to who's worse, we should be having a conversation about what we can do about the problem. We know white people aren't a monolith. I mean, we all know that not all white people are racist and trying to kill anybody that doesn't look like them. But when those same people say, hey, I'm not racist, but then instead of actually trying to talk about the issue, we're talking about black on black crime and inner city crime, it tells me that you're either trying to deflect from the issue. Because if I'm talking about dismantling white supremacy and you want to talk about something else, does that mean you don't want to dismantle white supremacy? Like, what does that mean? Like, you don't want, like, what are you trying to get at here? So I feel like it hurts my heart that people of different colors, people who are just literally minding their business and shopping at Walmart, or it's like it just keeps on happening. These mass shootings keep on happening. And the fact that we've had 249 and we're only in August, this should be a problem. The fact that every other first world country has less deaths than we do, is that not setting off an alarm? Is that saying that we should maybe change something? And then instead of trying to figure out what we can change, we're going to talk about inner city or black on black crime? It's just all a deflection, man. And just because I point out racist shit, it doesn't make me a racist. It's like you're literally trying to put a Band-Aid on a broken bone. It's never going to heal like that. We can't pretend that it doesn't exist. We can't pretend. And we shouldn't. And it's really sad that this is what we have no choice but to deal with, where we have a black man who's selling CDs and he gets strangled to death on camera in front of our eyes. Philando Castile shot in front of his infant daughter and his girlfriend. While all of these boys who have actually committed real crimes, killing 20, 30 people, they get to the jail completely okay. In one piece, not even a scratch on them. I've even had seen situations where the police officer bought the person in the back like McDonald's or Burger King. This has got to stop. Like, we actually have to band together as people, and not just Black people, not just Hispanic people. We all need to band together to say this is wrong. Racism has no place here. But instead of that, we're just so scared to point out what racism is. It's like, when I say that this is something that's wrong, to the random white person who wants to let me know, not all white people, I know. But if it's not for that ass, let it pass. Unless you're a part of the white supremacy that I'm trying to systematically, because systemic racism, and I'm trying to dismantle. If you are not speaking about trying to dismantle it, then you're a part of the problem. You are now officially complicit. Oh my God, it grinds my gears. It makes me so upset to know that this is what we're fighting right now. Instead of trying to figure out what's really wrong so we can tackle the issue. Because I can tell you what's going on in inner cities. I can tell you why those things, why that shit is fucked up. It's because of lack of education. It's because of lack of school funding. It's because of lack of representation. All of those things play into it. We don't have enough community within the Black community. That's something I can actually explain to someone. This is a whole nother realm. This is a whole nother realm. This is a person that's not just racist, because I meet regular racism. I meet that on a regular basis. You know, white people saying shit like, oh, you wouldn't want to go there because they don't have good chicken, blah, blah, blah. But that person isn't going to drive 800 miles to kill 30 people that look like me. So this is a problem. This is a collective fucking issue. Whether they were driven by racism or not, the fact is that all of these mass shooters tend to be white. Me pointing that out does not make me a racist person. It just means a bitch has eyes. I just had to come out and say something about this because it's been really wearing heavy on my heart. And then to have two shootings that were less than 24 hours apart, and the fact that they are only just now, this is the first time I've ever heard it. And by the way, if it's happened before, please put it down in the comments below, because I would love to be educated. But from what I know, this is the first person in El Paso, Texas, they actually state we are treating him like a domestic terrorist. I don't believe I've heard a phrase like that in reference to a white person who's killed a lot of people since the Oklahoma City bombing. And I believe they called Timothy McVeigh a domestic terrorist. And I think that's it. That's only been since then. We have a lot of work to do. As everybody who's close to me knows, I'm going to be moving to, I'm starting the process of hopefully moving to Canada by the time I graduate in 2021. I don't think I can have children here. I don't think I would feel comfortable. It's a very scary place. There was a little boy who was 10 years old that got charged for playing dodgeball. He threw the dodgeball at a little boy that had some kind of brain issues or something wrong with his head. So it was not a good idea for that kid to be playing dodgeball. But instead of blaming the adults that let him go play a game that might have been dangerous for his health, we're going to arrest and try and charge a 10-year-old boy. All of the people that end up killing us as Black people just end up a lot of them just end up walking free. I don't know how people cannot be frustrated. How can you expect me to be like everything's okay? Well, I just had to get that off my chest. I've been scrolling online and just the rage was building up, so I had to release it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. I really do appreciate, any love, any messages. Please like, comment, subscribe. I would absolutely adore it. But really, I kind of just do this for me, because it's therapeutic to be able to get it out. But at any rate, this was Sid the Kid, and let's have a better tomorrow.